So here are the problems in the New Deal. First problem being that a lot of people thought that the government was becoming too big and too powerful with all these new agencies and the power that all these new agencies had. And the Supreme Court began to attack some problems and knock them down. And this led to, as the Depression got worse and worse, a second New Deal. The Works Progress the Works Progress Administration was created, and this was a second jobs program that also got artists involved and created programs for actors and artists and writers because they were all out of work as well. The Rural Electrification Administration, the REA, it loaned money to states and local businesses and cities to build power plants, power lines, and home wiring to modernize the electrical system in this country. The Wagner Act made legal collective bargaining and closed shops legal, made all this perfectly fine. In fact, a closed shop is a factory that you have to be a union member to work in that factory. Set up a board to enforce those decisions, and eventually the Wagner Act, or eventually FDR would ban child labor and create a minimum wage, which were big victories for workers during this era. And he created Social Security. Social Security supplies three types of insurances from the government. They're not entitlements, and they're not free. You pay for them out of your taxes every time you get paid. So when you go to collect them, they're not entitlements. They're something you paid for your whole life. You should get them back. Old age pensions and survivors benefits, you get payments after you turn 65. And unemployment insurance, that gives insurance to, or employers who have more than 8 employees have to pay a tax. This tax is collected by the government, and when people lose their job, it is that money from that tax is used to help them pay for their homes and pay for their pay for their food and stuff until they find a job. And the third is aid for dependent children, which back then was, and the blind and the disabled. These are grants to states to help disabled kids. Like back then, that's how the School for the Blind and the Deaf in the city were paid for. So these are three really important and very functional programs the government still does today. And that is the end of that lecture.